93.3.
All right, I better turn that down or I'm going to get shut down by you know who. All right, so let's see who we've got here. We have got Lady Mish. I hope you're still here, Lady Mish. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for coming by. We have my son, Alex James. I love you. Glad you're here. Welcome everyone who's coming by, and that includes Quiet Listener. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm going to turn this around. Well, I don't know if I can right now. I'll try to turn around later. Whoa. So it's my real true hope that you all are having a beautiful, blessed day today. I'm having a good day. I'm going to try to move my steering wheel out of the way. I know there's a steering wheel thingy here. All right, I pushed it out of the way. Oops, I just turned on the blinker. So I know we've got one person. I don't know who it is, but I'm glad you're here today. I'm having a good day. I'm having a good day. I asked God for a good day, and he gave it to me. Now, that's not that he does it every time, but most of the time, if I ask, he comes through for me. You know, I'm told, in the Bible, he knows what my needs are even before I ask. And so, let's see, I'm going to turn my camera around for a minute. Front facing. And give you a little view of where I'm at for a moment. Watching on your TV. So I watch a lot of people on my TV too. That way, I'm not always interested in if I'm not feeling well or I have to be down. Usually when I have to be down in bed, I am on my TV in my bedroom. So give you a little bit of view of where we're at today. We are down by Sacred Heart Hospital. That's no longer a hospital. Richard, but there's a building right next to it across the street where Richard is having an MRI today of his spine, his whole spine. And I thought, I'd show you kind of around the area right here. It is the college campus area. So there is a lot of things related to college campus housing, right across the street there. It is a rainy day in Georgia. I don't know if you're from Georgia and it's a rainy day, you put a little thumbs up and let me know you're having a rainy day. Nomad Hatter. Oh, good Lord God Almighty. Well, thank you for showing up. I'm glad you're here. ES, I don't know who you are. Yes, Lou, I hope everything goes well with his MRI and things turn out to be that he doesn't have to have surgery. So my friend, ES, this is my first time with you on here to my knowledge. That isn't going to be how it is. Richard has a very serious issue with his spine. Let me turn the camera around now that I know how to do it again. Got to go to settings, go to camera, and then scroll down, and I'm going to go front facing. And that will work. And back to all right. And get out of settings. There we go. Didn't lose me this time. So Richard has very serious spinal problems. He has not been able to take care of because he has not been able to get off of nicotine. And they will not operate, especially on the spine, if you're on nicotine, because nicotine prevents healing. It does prevent healing, And so he has had to, get to the point where he can be off of nicotine. And he is using a vape that is only, it is no nicotine. It's just whatever is in there, and it doesn't involve nicotine. Nomad Hatter is a farm and new channel, only has 11 subs. Yes, they could use subs. I mean, so they're Nomad Hatters are my nephew and my niece-in-law, my nephew and my niece-in-law, Billy and Peggy. I assume Peggy's on here. And they live off grid. They live off grid, fully off grid, 100% off grid. So if you are someone who lives off grid, you know what they battle. And here in the Pacific Northwest, they battle cold and wet, as you saw. And it really is. They live on a ranch where there's about 100 head of cattle. I could be wrong on the number, but quite a few. Quite a few. It's a beautiful ranch up in the Coburg Hills, and they live off grid there. And they have about 7 horses that they care for, and it's a good situation. So they, and it's a really good situation as far as it's just a beautiful place. And let's see what he says. Okay, so, sorry to hear about that ever since COVID and after COVID. I mean, just everyone you look and turn, people are dying or people are sick, people suffering long-term COVID effects. You know what? So I have had COVID twice. I never got it really bad, thank you, God. And I also quickly got on the antiviral medicine. I have issues that allow me to be able to take that, and it really did help me. I am not a proponent of getting vaccinated or not getting vaccinated. It really is a personal choice. I chose to get vaccinated because a member of my family was terrified of it because her husband had just gone through a catastrophic, I'm going to lock my doors, a catastrophic heart situation as a very young man in his late 40s. I think he was in his late 40s at the time. An active person, ended up in complete, almost dead from heart failure. And you wouldn't have known it looking at him. He's very healthy, not an ounce of fat on his body, did not smoke cigarettes, and he ended up in catastrophic heart failure. And so, long time. I mean, it was just an awful situation. He's better now. He has had to retire. I guess, no, he was in his mid-50s, late 50s. That's it. He was like mid-50s, late 50s, and not 40s, and had to retire early. Didn't plan on retiring early, by the way, because financially, in your mid-50s, most of us are not prepared to retire. But when you're forced to retire, it's the way it is. So he had to retire early. Well, she was terrified. My sister was terrified of, and I don't blame her. I don't blame her. So I made a decision because I love my little sister and I love my brother-in-law. I've known him since I was 18. I'm 62. God, it's been a lifetime. And so I chose to get vaccinated. I've been vaccinated repeatedly. I didn't have the most latest one. So I'm just saying, I don't care if you've been vaccinated or not been vaccinated. What I care about is people not be bullied into it, like you're going to lose your job. That's what I don't like. Okay. Although I can say potentially healthcare workers, there's a lot of unanswered questions. However, it was handled inappropriately. I'm going to say that I believe it was fully handled inappropriately. I'm not someone who believes children should have been pulled out of school. And there's a lot of evidence to show that that's true. And the damage it did to kids, I am not a fan of. So that's my talk on COVID. It didn't cause his problem, I guess, kind of what it is. I like the world is out in control. It's like the world's out of control, and I just don't want to sound like a negative Nancy, but things are just not the same. Okay, so you are 100% right on board with me on that. I think things are completely upside down, bass backwards, as my mother would have said back in the day, and there's many scary things. I mean, if I could keep my good days going, you don't know me because I just don't know the name ES, but I I have a very severe spinal situation that it was gradual for a long time, for a decade, and I'm now to the point when I leave my house, if I'm going to go out and walk around anywhere, I have to take a walker. I have to use a walker, and that was see, I grabbed my dog tags and my cross in my hand when I start to talk about this stuff, because it's been a horrifying ride. And it's progressed very aggressively in the last 6 months, 4 months to 6 months, very aggressively, to the point that I now spend several days a week in bed. And that is not me. I'm not an in-bed girl. I wake up still between 6 and 7, but I'm not able to just get out of bed and go do my life. I get out of bed and I go take medication, not pain medication, but other medication that I take. I get up, I do take muscle relaxer. I take a muscle relaxer every day, 2 to 3 times a day. That relaxes these muscles around my spine. And so I have to do that. And I take Neurontin, which, it's supposed to help. It doesn't feel like it really does a whole lot. And so my world shrunk really small. And I'm a YouTube creator. I love YouTube. I'm somebody who really does like YouTube. I like that anybody who wants to can get on YouTube and do something if they so choose. And ideally, it's something constructive. My husband and I got into YouTube. We'll go back a little bit here. Hubby and I got into YouTube about 4 or 5 years ago, when we decided we were going to live in our RV. We got an RV. I'm the one who started it. I watched Bob Wells. It's his fault. Okay, it's his. If you want to blame anybody for me being on YouTube, locate Bob, tell him it's his fault. And I watched him, and I loved the idea of traveling. I've never got to see the country. And I really wanted that. I wanted to be able to do that. And so I got Richard into it. It was during right before COVID, or right at the beginning of COVID, I believe. So we were locked down. We spent 1 year watching nothing but YouTube. I'm telling you, Bob Wells has a lot of videos, and other people. So but it all comes down to Bob. And whether people like Bob or not, I don't give a crap. I like Bob. I love Bob. He gives people who otherwise might not have hope a way to teach them how to live in a vehicle of any sort, really, any sort, a sedan. Box Van D is another person that I give a lot of credit to. I watched her before she was ever a creator, through Bob. I saw her through Bob. She lived in her sedan, and so we watched that. I thought, yep, that's me. I want to go live on the road. My father was in his last period of life, and I didn't know how I was going to leave my dad. He was in a nursing home by this point, because he was at home, the home that I live in right now. He was at home, and it's the one he built, and I lived in as a child and spent most of my life there. And so I thought, I probably won't leave long term before my dad passes. And so we okay, quiet listener. And so we got an RV, an inexpensive RV, under $10,000. Class C. And I got an appointment with Bob Wells to have, it was when all the stuff at Quartzsite happens in early January. And I was going to, let's see, first of all, let's see what he has to say here. Wishing you the very best with your channel. Everything just feels like a roller. I know. I'm so sorry, ES. I wish I knew your name. Longer than 5 years, Lucretia, because my old channel was over 5. Oh, that's okay. Longer than 5 years. Wow. Wow. I have to really go back and look at my very first video. If she says, quiet listener, Vicky says it's over 5 years, it's over 5 years. Well, I watched some of your videos and stumbled across your channel and I was impressed. Thank you so much. You seem to be very well educated and rehearsed, as well as very much down to earth. I am not rehearsed. I kind of have an idea of what I want to talk about, but it's, as you will find, I commonly go off on tangents. I just have a little bit of training on how to talk to people. And so, so I choose to talk to people. So what I was trained to do is to talk about what you know, what I know is my life. And I know what I want to do in my life and what I've done in my life. And I've lived long enough to have lived a little bit of life. I really do sadly have a story. I could put a book about it, but I'm not willing to do that to my family. I'm really not going to do that to my family, but I could do a movie about my life, and maybe somebody might get some good out of it, actually. Are you local by any chance here in Eugene? Impressed with that as you're doing it your way and you're describing what attracted you. Yes, I absolutely. I was highly attracted by Bob Wells and how he shows that anybody can do this who wants to, and those that need to. For instance, well, first of all, so a lot of people choose and they live in their cars. I've watched channels that lived in a crossover or an SUV, or a couple people in sedans. Started out in a sedan for several years, like 3 years, this one lady, and she drove all over the country in her sedan. And she did working at like Walmart or different locations. And then, oh, you're from the great state of Texas? All right. My nephew, one of my nephews, his father is from Texas, and my nephew spent a little time in Texas recently and loves Texas. I would like to visit there someday. It is, especially the coast. I would love to go to the Gulf Coast. When my father was in the Navy, he was in the area, and that was during World War II. So I like how Bob showed that anybody could live and that you could poop in a bucket. Okay, that isn't something most of us like to talk about, but I thought, in order to travel around the country, could I poop in a bucket? And I came to the conclusion that under the right circumstances, I could absolutely do that. If I could go to Yellowstone National Park, if I could go to the Grand Canyon, if I could go to travel through some of California, I could do that. I don't have to do that because I have to have an RV, as it turns out. I have to be able to stand up. Okay. So we bought, because of my disability and the back situation is so severe, I really do need to stand up. I'm one of those people, I've always been attracted. So here's going to be a weirdness about me. I have always been attracted to living in a minivan. I know it is crazy, but they make it Minivan Lee. Has anybody besides me on here watched Minivan Lee? I love her. And she makes it look doable. Ron Darrell Adventures. There you are. Well, thank you for popping in here. Ron Darrell has a channel. Please, if somebody is on here and is a moderator with moderator capabilities, if you could drop the link of Ron Darrell. And by the way, if you're a YouTube creator, if you could put a C in here, please just put a C in here. And if there is a moderator who could go to these channels and drop a link, I would be deeply appreciative of that. So Minivan Lee and a couple of other people, but Minivan Lee makes it look so simple. But Minivan Lee is in exceptional health for being, she's like 70, she's 70 years old now. In exceptional health. She doesn't have any spinal problems. She had a little knee injury, but that healed, you know. Of course it healed with Minivan Lee. She's a tough broad. And so, but yes, sir, very much. I really appreciate you. You know, if you want to share this out and let your friends know that I'm online, I'm doing a live stream today, and it's going to be a little bit of a live stream. My hubby is having a full back MRI, and then we're taking you for a drive after that, a drive stream through the southern part of town and out to this really beautiful park we have here. I'd appreciate it. Anybody who wants to share it out on their social media, doesn't matter what it is. So Minivan Lee makes it look real simple. And I love, she's an ideal setting, by the way. If you're a person who could live in a minivan and you don't need a bed, and even there's been a couple builds with beds in them, I thought, yes, but I am married and I don't think we could minivan it together. Do you know what I'm saying? If I was going to do a minivan, it would be to go to areas where it's nice. Of course, you follow the sun, follow 75 degrees, 80 degrees, 90 degrees. I would do that. I would follow the sun. But I don't think we could. Oh, yep, I know you're a Texan. I have an ex-brother-in-law who was full-blood Texan. And my nephew was recently in Texas the last few years, a couple times, and he loves it. And he feels like he was born to be a Texan. His dad was a full Texan, a cowboy Texan, by the way, a working cowboy Texan. And and I spent many years as a child around livestock auctions, horses, cows, sheep, not very many pigs. They managed livestock auctions, and I really was a youngster because this sister was about 10, 12 years older than me. And so I spent a lot of time as a young girl around these places. And so my nephew William loves Billy, loves Texas. So Minivan Lee makes it look so easy. And I want to, and it just looks so fun. I can't explain why doing that in a minivan looks fun, but maybe because I really do like minivans and there's so much room in a minivan, especially the extended versions. So then I thought, I saw Lori's Way. Lori's Way. She has one of the kind of older Dodge Econoline vans, I think, and the extended one. And I thought, yes, I think Richard and I could do it in one of those, and it would be less money than in our RV. But our RV already has everything built into it. And I took many showers in our shower. But what it caused is so I went back to part of my story. See, this is what ES I was telling you, I can get off target with my stories. And so we were headed to Quartzsite to meet up with Bob Wells. He was going to do a review of our RV. And so I'm like, I'm the only one who can drive. My husband, yes, okay, there's my nephew. And there's their channel, Nomad Hatters. He lives off grid. He and his wife live off grid. Toilet and everything, off grid. They have gone through a few RVs and they're now in a Panhandle. Okay. I'm trying to think of that in my head, but isn't that down south? And so William, Peggy, whoever's on here, there's a couple full-blood Texans in here today. And so I was headed down there, and I'm the only one who could drive because of medicine my husband takes. And so I've never driven an RV before. It's 25-ish feet long, Class C, the hill country. Okay, so there's a couple other YouTubers I watch who are different kind of channels, and they're in the hill country also. And so I get behind, we bought this about 70 miles from where we live. We went down there, we picked it up. I drove it home like this. I'm telling you, I was like this, you know, and every little shake and shimmy, I'm holding on. That whole hour and a half or 2 hours back to our house, I'm like, oh God, please, please, please don't let me die on this freeway today. It's on Interstate 5. I live in Eugene, and I'm like, please God, don't let me die. I live streamed the whole way. And not everyone can live us. We wish we could afford to. So I understand what you're saying, Vicki, and you're somebody I would never disagree with because I agree with you all the time. But I would say that's with the right, so under the right circumstances, anybody could do it with the right tools. That's the key. Okay. The off grid is fine if you have the right tools. Otherwise, well, thank you, Ron. Thank you so much. So, I'll talk about that in a minute, Vicki. So I'm driving home. I'm like, God dang it. It's not what I was saying, but I'm trying to learn to not be a bad mouth, potty mouth. And so we get home. I had my brother-in-law who had driven a lot of vehicles, a lot of trucks, a lot of bigger trucks, kind of gauged to possibly have to, because my street's a dead end. I have a very steep driveway, a very steep short driveway. And I live by an asshole. I will say that straight up. He is an asshole. This guy, a hole to the max, or as my BFF says, to the hubs. And he will find any way he can to mess with people's lives. And I didn't want my life messed with. So I was going to park it, on the street for a few days and then up in the driveway. So I get back and I find out, by the way, I was able to pull it on my street, my dead end street, and turn it around. Just saying. I did it. And so I got it turned around, and I was in love. Yes. It doesn't even have a couch in it. It has, before I go further, we looked at the four corners of the state and the middle for an RV. And I cannot tell you, if you've been out looking for an RV lately, an inexpensive RV, like we did not have means, you know what I'm saying? We had under $10,000, and that's it. And so we looked everywhere. Oh God, I'm down to 5. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I did wrong. And so we I've had this thing in my chest for several weeks. I really need a recheck. Down to 4. Good Lord. I'm losing you guys. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I've done wrong. And so we found the best one we could for under $10,000 at the time. The best one, the very best one we could. And it's about a 25-foot Class C. It does have a bathroom, with a shower. It's not a wet bath. It's a small bathroom with a shower, a toilet, sink. Okay. So, it's tight, but it's completely doable. I took showers in it and everything. And a kitchen, twin beds, and then the overhead bunk. And so we were going to go to see Bob in Quartzsite and get this baby videoed. I was going to go big time with Bob. I'd seen everybody who got to that point. I'd seen it happen. Okay, so I'd seen it happen, and I thought, this is it. Not to mention I'm meeting a demigod, Bob Wells. So we get down there. I'm excited. We didn't get down there in time. I was a day late and $1 short. I drove as fast as I possibly could to get from Eugene to Quartzsite. Took me like 4 driving days. Now that's not good, by the way. Next time it would not be that hard, that long. But I'm telling you again, please God, do not let us die. We're going to go and we're going to go meet the God of YouTube, Bob Wells. And so The counter is off. It's telling me I could. Oh, okay. Oh God, well that's cool. My chat is not working then, you guys. I apologize if I've not said hi to anybody else, because I am grateful when people come in here. So it's now shows down to 3. I'm not going to pay attention to the chat. And again, I only see about 4 people on here. So I'm so sorry if I'm not able to, I'm not saying hello to anybody. It's that my chat is not working. My chat count and my comment side, it's like, I'm not getting any comments. So I missed the first appointment with Bob. I did call. You know, I'm not stupid. Okay, guys. I know how to work within a system. And I said, hey, here's the situation. Unless I put our lives at risk, I'm going to be late. And so they gave me a new appointment. Okay, I got a whole new appointment. I'm down there in Quartzsite, loving it, by the way. Love it. Okay, it's not normal to love Quartzsite. I'm just saying. I don't think it's normal to love Quartzsite. I am an Oregon girl. We have trees. We have real trees in Oregon. Okay? That's what they build houses with all over the world. Okay? And so I fall in love with Quartzsite, not to mention I fall in Quartzsite and injure myself, but that's a different story. And so I'm in love with Quartzsite. I'm beyond, I'm like, my heart is palpitating to meet Bob Wells, whom I owe everything to at this point. You know, at that point, I'm like, yes, sir. I am your biggest fan, mister. And so I look at the link, I look at the dropped link for where I'm supposed to meet him, and I go there. And it's out this very bad road, by the way. And it's like, you know, I'm trying so hard. And again, I'm the only driver. And so it's like bouncing all over. And I'm like, please, God, don't let this vehicle break down, clear back on this nasty road. And we didn't break down. And I'm so happy. And I can't find Bob. I'm looking all over for Bob. This is the second attempt at making contact with Bob Wells. And so we're parked, and I'm like, where are you guys at? I call the woman. Where are you guys at? I'm here. In my excitement to meet Bob, in my excitement to become a big YouTuber, in my excitement to get the exposure, besides meeting Bob, to get the exposure, I didn't look at the new link, the new pin that had been dropped for a completely different location. Not doable to get to that day. There is not words to tell you. So I apologize from the bottom of my heart. And I said, please tell Bob, I'm not this stupid. Okay. I'm so sorry. I am not an idiot. I'm just a big fan. I love him. I adore him. I really love that guy. I owe this new vision to life that I have left anyways, to him opening up that vision in me. But I'm not going to meet you for the second time. So we hung up, and I hysterically sobbed my eyes out. I felt really stupid to start with. I felt stupid. I felt foolish, because I know how I've worked in situations where I'm very good at specifics, and I'm very good at those kind of technicalities, you know, like making sure I'm where I'm supposed to be on the date and the time I'm supposed to be there. And for this to happen to me felt like I looked like a fool. I looked like a fool. And I was heartbroken. You know, that was it. There was no more time. It was out. It was over. And I really wanted to go bury my head in the sand. I wanted to go. And when I say I boo-hoo sobbed. I boo-hoo sobbed. It was the main reason we went to Quartzsite. It's why I was on the road. Please, God, don't let me die. Please, God, help me get to Quartzsite, Arizona. See, and in my mind, you just went south, and at a certain point in California, you just go left. Okay? And I mean that. It seems so simple to me. You just drive south. Okay, I know how to do that. I know I've used a compass. And by the way, I've been to LA. Um, you just go south and you turn left when you get around Los Angeles, you know? As it turns out, it is not that simple. There's a few different ways to get there. And thank God to Bernie Pena. Bernie was one of my heroes in this whole quest. So it was a quest. There was another reason I was meant to go, because I wasn't meant. See, what I came to terms with over the years since I've been there, I think it's been 4 years ago, or 4 or 5 years, 4 or 5 seasons, including this season. I think it's 5 that I was there. We were there. There was another reason I was supposed to be there, because it wasn't to meet Bob. It just wasn't to meet Bob. I don't know. And again, if you're on here, I can't see you. For some reason, my comment section from my end is not working. And I so deeply apologize for that, because I wish I knew who was here, because, you know, that's me. So anyways, I went there. I had a good time. And that's one of the things that turned out to be a blessing right there. Roy and Becky. So Roy and Becky's Travels. Hello, I do see you. But I haven't seen other people. For some reason, my chat isn't working. Hopefully it's going to start working. So I met Roy actually is the one who came and drove us in back to the cul-de-sac. We were there when there was a cul-de-sac. And so grateful, honest to God, so grateful to meet them. And they are as sweet and kind. Well, I don't know if Roy's so sweet. No, Roy saved our life, literally helped save our life one time when our thingamajigger was on fire. A thingamajigger in our RV was on fire. And he was doing a live stream. And I was on the live, you know, I was just on there like you guys are. And I'm like, this thing is on fire, whatever it's called. And he just dropped everything and ran over and helped us. And so, anywho, thank you for saving our life. And so other people were there, and we met. And I'm so sorry. You know, my mind is a little bit mushy this afternoon. Thingamajigger, it was a thingamajigger to me. It is called a darn it, it's where you plug batteries into, I think, somehow. Because yeah, and there's people pulling up. They're gonna think I'm crazy, because these people over here, I know they did when they were coming out, because I was talking. It's a little warmish in here. Let me see if that light's gonna help too. And so I'm just gonna, no, I don't want to open I didn't want to open it because it's raining. Solar controller. That's what it was. That's what I remember now. The solar controller burned up. We had too much solar on this particular controller. And what in the Lord Jesus is happening? I just want it to be cracked. That's all I'm asking for. Oh, well, I'm not going to try it again. And so, is that a brand name, right? Yeah. Oh, God. And so, I fell in love with Quartzsite. It really felt like home. Honestly, there's only one other place in this world that I've been to so far feels like home, where I could actually live, and that's Newport, Oregon, on the coast. I love Newport. I actually like Sisters too, except Sisters, Sisters is a tourist town in Central Oregon. It's before you get to Bend, which is the bigger town. Sisters is a very country town. I know that Bob Wells spends time there in the woods somewhere, and that's because it is a wonderful town. It's adorable. It's a precious little town, but it's a little town, and it gets, in the summer, there's probably a period of time when there's probably 50,000 people in the greater area between Sisters and Bend camping easily, and it is not meant to have that. Oh, Aiden, there's one of my grandnephews. Hey, just wanted to stop real fast to see how you're doing. That miss you and Brent and Richard. Oh, sweetheart, thank you so much. He is one of my young grandnephews. He's a 21, I believe, ish. It could be 20. Um, very sweet young man, and that is his channel name. So if you are a moderator, and by the way, he's a gamer. He's a gamer. He's growing his channel. He's already at 2,000. He flew by me. No, Aiden, you fly by everybody you can, sweetheart, because that is how you're doing it with the people that do the same stuff you do. So please, that if somebody could drop his link, and if somebody could drop the link for Roy and Becky, and for Ron Darrell Adventures, and for Quiet Listener, those are the only ones I can see on here that have a channel. So, yeah, I don't know what my lesson was about that. I had to come home and just start building my channel. And now, when I got home, so we did come home. We were there. We were gone almost 8 weeks, right around 8 weeks. We were gone from our sticks and bricks here in Eugene. And I will be honest with you, I want a king size bed in my next RV. If I ever get another one, I want a king size bed or the equivalent thereof, something around there, because we're very spoiled. That's one of the things, besides flushing a toilet and not having to think about how much water you've got. And Roy can attest to this, or Becky, that I used so much water. We were constantly coming and going from that site there in Quartzsite. Roy said he'd look up and there I'd be going, because we had to go get water, because I just went through water. I went through water. So I have to learn. I do have some new tools for dealing with that, and I believe I could do it. Besides throwaway plates, So anyways, I love YouTube. I love Quartzsite. I cannot wait to come back to Quartzsite. I don't believe I have the ability to do it like Roy and Becky in summer. I just don't. Even I don't know, maybe because, by the way, as it turns out, 90 degrees is not in Quartzsite, Arizona, is not the same as 90 degrees in Eugene, Oregon. It's a different, I don't know the right word. It's different. I got color. Okay, I'm a very white girl. Okay, I have a lot of Irish and Scottish in me. You would never know I have Indian, but I have a pretty decent amount of Indian as well. Native American, excuse me. There we go. I mean, that's it. That's the answer to everybody's problems. Plastic utensils and paper plates. That's right. So it's the humidity. I disdain humidity. Okay. That's why I don't think I'll ever go to Florida, or Florida, as so many say. I don't think I'll ever go to Florida because I can't stand humidity. And I believe it's my understanding, or it's a wrong preconceived notion, is there's a lot of humidity in the South, especially in Florida, and some parts of Texas even. I'm watching for hubby. Well, when he gets out of his MRI, by the way, whichever one is on here, Richard, Roy and Becky's Travels, Richard is now using a non-nicotine vape so that he can be completely off of nicotine, because as I've said for 3-4 years, he needs 2 big surgeries on his spine, one on his neck and one on his back. It's needed. The one on his neck, we know for a fact it's pressing on the myelin sheath, and it's not scared him enough, but he's in enough pain and he's debilitated enough, and that's exactly what it took. Hey, Becky, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for letting me know it's you. I think he's in enough pain and he's scared now. He's 65 and it's only getting worse. And we look at that RV sitting there, and we can't safely travel. We can't safely travel right now, very far from home. And that's painful to know. It's, to come to terms with that took a lot of soul searching, but it's true. We can't safely travel far from home. And a big chunk of that is Richard. And so, anywho, he's on non-nicotine vapes, and he's hoping to be off of those even shortly, because he knows that is not good for his lungs. He still walks, like, he walks the dogs 2 to 3 times a day, and I'm talking, he walks them, wow, easily 2 miles, 1.5 to 3 miles each walk. And so he's getting in his steps, because I can see it on his step counter on his phone, because he keeps the phone in his pocket, and so it does count the steps. And excuse me. And so, but the surgery's got to happen, especially the neck one, or it puts him at, oh goodness, happy birthday tomorrow to you. Are you going to do a live stream on your birthday? Let me know if you're going to do a live stream. How old will you be, Ron Darrell? Ron, let's see. Oh, here he is, by the way. We're still live, honey. How did that go?
Oh, just wonderful.
Very much pain?
A little bit of itch.
Yeah, it's hard
that
to.
I couldn't scratch.
It's hard to be in an MRI machine. Okay, I'm going to turn that. I'm going to turn the camera around. So, Ron, let's see. How old do I think you're going to be? Let's let other people guess too. I would say between 65 and 70, somewhere between 65 and 70. That's my guess. And I'm going to move the phone around for a minute because we need to fix something here. Oh, Lord God Almighty. The good thing about turning 65 is Medicare Advantage. So I'm going to try and, oops, I'm turning that the wrong way. I'm trying to tighten up the, can you figure out how to tighten that, honey? Medicare Advantage plan. So now this has to go back here though. Whoops. Oh, Lord. All right. Push the button behind. Okay. Richard knows is much more better with technical stuff. I'm going to turn the phone around and let you see the live drive, because it'll be a nice little drive once we get out of the town area. All right, so I'm gonna have to go up here. Oh no, that's not where I want to go. I want to go down here, and I want to go to settings, and then I want to go to camera, and then I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go, I think, no, I think that's there. Well, that's what I want to do. All right. So I'm going to say 65 to 70. Ron Darrell, which was in your, oh gosh. Well, Ron, what I could say is, if you're not in your 60s, you're doing very well. From an outsider's point of view, I said, so we're going to go to Hendricks Park. I had said, if you have your phone, you're okay. Well, so we are leaving. We'll also be going by I about a month and a half ago, I got a membership at the YMCA, the new YMCA here in town. Beautiful building, new building, $40 million. And part of that's because they started building it right before COVID hit. So guess what happened after COVID hit? The price of everything skyrocketed. And they were, in the beginning of a build. And so it cost $44 million, I think is what it was, 44 million. All right. And so I got that, and I have not been able to go very much because when I do go, I end up in a lot of pain, and that's just with a swimming exercise. But that's fine. I don't, it's just the way it's going to be for a while. So I end up spending days in bed. recuperating, and that's just how it is. All right, so they have a really weird. What is that? Oh, only use one, honey. All right. So happy birthday to Ron. Please I hope you have a wonderful birthday, Ron. My birthday is not until October. All right. Whoops.
Oops, is right.
And they've got the right of way. So they had on a blinker. I thought they were turning. Oh, I'm going to get in this lane. So we're going to drive by that. I love it there. They have two pools. They have a lap pool, and they have a smaller exercise pool. But the problem with the exercise pool is TCG fam, I do see you're here. Thank you for stopping by. And if anybody'd like to share this out on their social media, please feel free to do so. I'd love to have more people. I'd love to meet new people, by the way. I love people. I am a people person. So I want to get back to something. So we're going to the Rhododendron Garden, just so you know. It's a couple miles up here, up on the side of a hill here in town called Hendricks. It's called Hendricks Park. Am I going to be going? I'm only going to be going to 18th, aren't I, Richard? I'm not going to be going all the way out to. No. All right, so I'm going to get, I guess, back in the left lane. I'm not going to be going by the Y because it doesn't call. We don't have to go that far, but it's far from my house. Well, what he's going to say is the problem. And Vicki, I've not forgot the conversation about the living off grid. I am going to come to that. I promise. Left here. Okay. We will be going by Emerald, or what's the name of the track and field? Hayward Field. Hayward Field. Which you may not know what Hayward Field is, but if you've ever spent any time around track and field, or you are a fan of the Olympics, the Summer Olympics, pre-trials have been held here. Did an $80 million overhaul of it just for that and the World Championships, whatever. Anyways, it's a legendary track and field. It Nike came to be. Nike came to be on this field, and I used to go to school right here, right. Oh, I miss school. I loved, and I went as a 50-year-old woman, you know, and I still miss college. I wish I'd gone as a kid, and I didn't. I went as a grown-up adult woman. Also, MacArthur Court is coming up down here on our left. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but I saw Elvis Presley there when I was 15 years old. 15 years old. I went to see Elvis. It was one of his last concerts at the end of his life. No, I won't be able to see down there. It's too dark today. So, Lucretia. I'm going to have to drive again. So I can't read it. All right, so I'm going to jump over to Vicki and a little conversation about that. And Hayward Field right here.
You covered that whole thing?
Oh, man. You can't see in there, darn it, but you can see all these flags for all the different nations. It's got a beautiful, oh, God, yes, they have made it so you can't see in Hayward Field any longer. Well, now I remember it because we came by here during the World Track and Field Championships. Darn it. All right, and all right, well, can't see in there. I was a I was a field athlete. I did the javelin and the discus. I turn here again, correct?
You gotta go left.
Okay. So we're on the very south end of the campus. All right, so TCG. Lucretia, we just dropped our new seafood sauce. And check the last video. It will be ready for purchase. Wow, wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you for letting me know. I don't eat a lot of seafood, but I would be glad to pass it on, you know, pass on the information. And I will look at your last video. All right, very narrow through here. The hill straight ahead is where we're headed. So, Vicki, we mentioned we were talking about living off grid, and William or Peggy, probably Peggy was on here, might have been William, and said that they live off grid. And Vicki had mentioned that not everybody could do that. Okay, so and I said, well, she's like one of the few people on YouTube that I think I would ever not disagree with, because we always agree. But I kind of disagreed there. So and by the way, this is also an area where it's kind of an elite, bringing down a branch, an elite community where there's a lot of nice houses up here, beautiful houses, old, big, giant houses. And so here's the deal, Vicki. What I said is, with the right equipment, Hendricks Park is to the right, with the right equipment, almost anybody could live off grid. And I say that being somebody who needs equipment. I do think for myself, I'll speak for me. I could just do I turn here? Yes, there's the sign. I could fully live off grid and use the bucket system. I could live off grid probably with, I don't believe I could live off grid with no solar, because I need and I want to have, I'm just moving the camera around to kind of look off to the side at the houses. All right, well, and I like electricity. As it turns out, I really appreciate electricity. I appreciate being able to turn on a light in one form or fashion. And so with the right type of electricity availability, I think I needed to turn left there to get to that. Yeah, I'm fine. When we were in Quartzsite, we had solar, but we also had the little pot lights. We had a lot of different ability to have electricity. And I'm probably gonna have to turn around eventually. Oh, yep. I'm gonna drive up here just for the drive, see some of these neat houses, and then we'll turn around and go back to the actual park where I wanted to go to start with. I do need electricity, all right? And I like electricity. I do not like living in the dark. Now, here's what we did find out, is that we went to bed when it got dark for the most part. Well, we would watch some TV. I got Hulu. I wouldn't need Hulu now, because we have I've learned so many different things about how to have TV if we want TV. And so I don't need TV. There's so many options on YouTube. Almost anything I watch on TV, I can find on YouTube as well, or something very similar. So I believe I would be fine. I was fine for 2 months off grid. On our way back, it was nice to plug in. We're able to dump. Let me rephrase that. Richard is able to dump. It's something I would need to learn to do. I need to learn to do. I didn't learn to do because Richard did it. Richard did it. I'm going to, in a minute, probably move the phone and hold it in my hand for a moment. Yep. I'm going to stop and show you a click from here. It's just not showing it good. It's just a little too dark. All right, I see. All right. Might you put it back for me, honey? Thank you. And so solar, Minivan Lee lives with limited solar. Other people who are in vans live with minimal solar. So I know we have people on here. We had 650 watts of solar. Um, Becky, do you know how many watts of solar you guys have? I know you have a lot more than that now. You know, a lot more than we have. What do you got? What do you guys have? I'm going to go ahead and turn around and go back to the park. This seems like a good turnaround location because we're just headed down, back down
And around
and around.
the
So
lower street, we
yeah.
would get back up to the mountain.
So but Lee, I think, has like 200, 400 watts. I don't think she has 400 watts. Other people that I watch that are small, in a small minivan, do not have much wattage. But now I understand when somebody says, what do you want to use? You figure out what you need based on what you want to use. Okay, if I'm going to be in a hot climate, I want to use an ice machine. Okay, I said it. I hope I'm not eviscerated, but I want to be able to use my ice machine. That's important. I do use a lot of ice. It would be nice to use a bullet once in a while in order to make a blended drink I've fallen in love with straight fruit smoothies. My son and son-in-law have been doing this for a long time, and I thought it was. I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but I thought it was just nasty. And when I hit the guy on crutches, and like I said, a narrow area here, and so I definitely maybe would want to use that. A microwave, or and our stove and our oven, stove, refrigerator run on propane. Although our refrigerator can also run on electricity, which can do that different ways. So it's just kind of understanding what the need is. So I am not in the kind of condition, and I just am using Lee because she is such a well-known one. For a minivan, I'm not able to do that. I wish I could. It is attractive, I have to say. Living in a minivan, a lot less money. It's I know we all understand what the word portability means. It's very portable. Minivan, very portable. You can take it anywhere. You don't have to worry about where you're going to park it. And we had to worry about where we were going to park our RV. And so that's something to pay attention to. Do you want to? So people who use minivans, women might use I think it's called a Shiwi. I turn this way to get into that parking lot over here. Yep. A Shiwi, where you can urinate at night into a jug. I'm going to park right here where it says disabled park. And so that is, that's what, and then a bucket. If you're not going to be near a bathroom where you can just hop out and run to the bathroom, people need to learn to make ice also. It's good knowledge. Oh, well, keep fridge and freezers cold. Yes, I actually know. I understand that. And I believe Camp Goer 1 is here. Well, hello, Camp Goer 1. Thank you for stopping by as well. All right, so I'm going to get out. It's raining. I'm not going to walk around. I don't think I'll even need I don't think I'll need my walker just to go into that little building right there. It's close enough I can make it. So I'm going to get out. I need to take my purse.
Metal.
because I do have my self-protection. If you would, I'm going to put you on this, as a matter of fact. So bear with me for a moment. I'm going to unplug you from the plugged-in vehicle, and I'm going to put you on a little thingy. All right, so that I can hold it. And you've got the keys, I see. Thank you. All right. Did you already lock it, honey?
Yep.
Okay. I was trying to lock it with my thumb and it wouldn't lock. All right. I know you're not a fan of wet. I'm not really either, but I don't mind it here. So here is the shelter I was talking about. This is what I was trying to say. Shelter in Hendricks Park. It's reserved from 4 to 8. It's a wonderful shelter. It's got a fireplace over here. Oh, it's locked up though. That's sad. And then over here, I mean, this is a huge park. And of course, the rhododendrons are not in bloom. And I can't go very far without my walker. So I'm going to be very careful here. I'm just going to come over here to this viewing platform. See, my sister Olita is here. Hey, Patty. Hope you're having a good day. My hand's shaking. So it's rainy. Well, drizzling. It's not full rain.
Although it's been doing it all day.
Yeah, Richard, luckily, I'm going to say hello. Say hi.
Hi, bye.
He just doesn't like it. This is a gorgeous park. It's a rhododendron park, but there's lots of foliage of all different kinds here. Big trees. Big trees. Big canopy. I don't know how wet I can get my phone. I'm not going to walk any further except back over here to the shelter. Just sit down. Because that quickly my walking ability is affected. All right, and then I'm going to set you on a table. Pull out the little legs of this little stand and then turn you around and talk to you. Oh, oops. So, a little glance around. I can see this with lights wrapped around. This will be a great place for a rustic wedding. Guarantee it happens a lot. So let me turn the camera around. Settings, camera. All right. Yep. I need a new one of these little stands. Too cold. Okay, you can go in the car. I don't mind. I was feeling too warm. Phone off, or my purse off. And there we go. Yes, Patty, it would be beautiful for a wedding or for a gathering. Oh, yeah. So I was at the pool last Sunday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I was down most of the days. A couple of those, I was just solidly in bed. It hurt so bad every time I tried to sit. So sitting, and standing. Putting pressure on the spine is a no-go. I only have 15 minutes in here, and then it is closed. It's because it's already reserved for 4 o'clock today. Camp Goer 1, hello, Linda. So thank you for coming. Linda has a new grandbaby. If you haven't been over to see her grandbaby, you got to see the grandbaby. Grandbaby, she is beautiful. So sweet. It's so sweet. A picnic here would be great. I just wish that you had access to the fireplace, I really do. I wish we had put the fireplace locked up. So I'll tell you a very short story here. Well, not just short, but about a building exactly like this. Up at Silver Falls State Park in Oregon. You've been a busy bee taking care of her. I bet you have, Linda. You're a grandma that loves being a grandma, and that's really cool. My little sister is the same way. She loves being a grandma. Spent a lot of time taking care of her grandkids during the summertime. So let me get this right. So many, many years ago, long time ago, far away land, when I was in my early 20s, I lived in Salem for a while. I went to Chemeketa Community College. I was working on a degree in alcohol and drug counseling there. And my sister, one of my older sisters, Annette, who is no longer, she passed about 25 or 26 years ago. Annette's about 10 years older than me. And she had 2 kids, about 9 and 7, somewhere in there. Yes, and she's a grandma too, to a couple of older grandkids, but still a grandma. Yeah, I can imagine. So we decided, I was very fit. I was still a very fit person, loved to hike and camp and all of that good stuff. And so they came to visit me from Eugene. Well, my niece was already visiting me. And my sister Annette came up with her son. And he is, by the way, was on here earlier. His wife was Nomad Hatters. He always throws it in my face and I almost killed him. But so what we did is we went on this hike around Silver Falls State Park. And we took the long hike. Okay. We could have taken a shorter one, but we didn't. And I don't know whose fault that is. Probably mine. I wouldn't have expected my sister Annette to be paying attention to anything like that. She wasn't physically a physical person like that. And so, but she was, she was thin and she was in good shape as far as I understood. Side note, make sure who you're hiking with is in good shape. So, off we go with these 2 children. I don't know if they had coats. They may have had coats, but it was actually, it was not raining when we started out, but it was overcast. It was overcast at the time. Okay. I'm just saying it was overcast. So we get going, and we're about halfway through the hike. Too far to turn back, and it starts raining. We just had to go one way. We just had to keep moving. And it started raining and raining harder and raining harder. And my sister Annette was not a physically strong person. She's very short, was shorter than me. And was about 5'1", I'd say. Very petite, and a very petite build. And not physically strong. And so, considering I was the weightlifter and I was the athlete, I'm the one who got tasked with carrying the children back. But because literally my nephew was I would say close to hypothermic. He was not in good shape. And so I'm carrying him. And at one time I'm carrying him like this, and I have his sister on my back. And I was wearing Levi jeans. and I was soaked. They were soaked. We were all soaked by this time and no coats. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm afraid, William is going to die, because William is like bad shape. And I'm already counting the ways I erred on that day. I knew was big mistake. I didn't have kids. I didn't know. Once they get cold, they don't want to keep moving. And so we come upon and by the way, when we went into the park, it was a midweek. It's like a Wednesday during the year, it's like middle of the year, midweek. And there's not a single vehicle in that park. And this is on my life. This is a true story. Nobody in the park. And, no big deal. Great. Now we're not going to be bothered on the trail. So at this point, though, I'm like scared and hiking as quick as I can, holding the kid, having to put her down once in a while and just keep moving. Well, we get to a shelter exactly like this. And the fireplace, though, was up higher. It wasn't down on the floor. It was like, it's Silver Creek Falls. The fireplace is up on the wall. And so we get there. Roy's not allowed to navigate. Oh, I'm so sorry. You'll have to tell that story. And so we get there. We get to this building. Again, we haven't seen a person. We haven't heard a vehicle. There were no vehicles in the parking lot. Nothing. There is a blazing fire in the fireplace. If you're a person of faith, inside I was jumping for joy. I knew God had provided in that moment for those children, not for me, not for my sister, because we were the stupid ones. They were the victims, blazing fire, a huge fire, as big as that fireplace could hold. It was that size of fire in the fireplace. And so we stripped the kids down to their underwear, dried their clothing. I understand some survival. Stripped the kids out of their clothes, put them up by the fire, dried out the clothes. And then I left her there. And it was a couple parking lots away. I had to continue to walk I had a little Datsun, like a 68 Datsun 510 orange. Look that up. I loved that car, by the way, and they race those cars. So don't laugh too hard. I went and I got my car, and it was, I don't know, I think it was a stick shift. And here's why, maybe it was an automatic. Anywho, I know how to drive both. But so I get in, I bring the car back. I had to, in order to move my legs were frozen. They were frozen by this time, like icicles, like just giant icicles. And I had to use my hand to grab a hold of my pants leg and pull my leg up to put my foot down on the gas pedal. That's how cold I was. And so I got the heat turned on and got the car all warmed up and went back and picked up Annette and the kids. So both that niece and nephew, both, accused me of trying to kill them. But they remember it. Outing with Aunt Lucretia K. What can I say? I did not know it was going to rain. It's not all my fault. And I wasn't a parent. If I was a parent, I'd have thought, this is an overcast sky. Seriously, if I were a parent, I would have thought, oh, this is an overcast sky. Maybe we had to grab their jackets. And by the way, don't let William be in shorts. So they didn't die and they didn't have hypothermia. I think William was mildly hypothermic. I don't mean that jokingly. I think he was mildly hypothermic. And so, but that's a beautiful park if you've never been. Oh, that's, one of the places we could, when it's nice weather, it's just probably an hour and a half away from where we live. We can go there for a day walk. I need to find a way to put my camera on my walker, to attach it to my walker. And we have access to what are those little cameras called that you can like put in any weather. My son has a full set. And I put it on and I've like put the whole thing around here. And you know what happens when I have that harness on? and I'm walking, anybody who has a chest knows it's like boom, boom. Seriously, I can't do that. So anyways, that is my experience. It is just like this, except the fireplace is different. All right, I need to find, the last thing I wanted to do was take you guys to Prees Rock. And again, if you don't know who Steve Prefontaine is, I the day that he died, okay, the morning, the Register Guard newspaper, I still have it. The day he died, the Register Guard newspaper, which is our newspaper, it's no longer a newspaper anymore. It's a shame. It's a shame, is what it is. It's no longer a newspaper. It's now a shame. And my father, who took it for 60 years, 70 years, said the same thing about it. It was no longer a newspaper. It's owned by the family who owned it, the Baker family, sold it to the parent company of, I believe, USA Today. And it's basically a small USA Today. So anyways, I want to go to Prees Rock, which is in this neighborhood. I can't remember right now exactly how to get there from here. But it's an interesting little homage to him. But the day that he died, that morning, the newspaper came out, and the whole entire paper, front of the page, was his death notice. And it was horrific for us. I sobbed beyond explanation. He was just a god in the field and track world. He just was, and he still is to this day. And so I'm going to go now back over to my car, since this also is reserved for here in a few minutes. I'm going to grab my purse, because I've got to have that with me. I don't go everywhere I go, my personal protection goes. I just don't. I'll tell you we have had 2 major crime situations. One just 1 block from my house, where this man killed a woman. I know it's happening everywhere. Let me go to settings. I'm sorry, my hand is shaking. Camera, because I'm going to turn it back to outward facing. All right. And luckily, Richard has his. So sorry about that. I hit the wrong thing when I switched cameras. Lots of beautiful park here to walk in. This is just one very small area. Okay.
I got $109.
Okay. Um, okay, I'm gonna put this back up here.
I suppose that's $139. They took
Yes, yeah.
$30 of it.
No, probably something got paid for. All right, I'm live stream here. Let's put this back. And I need your phone. Could you please just type in Pre's Rock?
Please rock.
Pre, P-R-E. All right. AS Blind Maid Productions. Oh, Alfonso. Hello, Alfonso. I am so glad you're here. Thank you for stopping in. We're just on a drive right now. I'm going to go to Pre's Rock, a legendary track athlete. Okay. So let me get back all the way in the car.
2425 Sky.
Okay, let's get directions. If you would please. Okay, Becky, thank you for coming by. I'm so glad you stopped in.
It's almost a mile.
Okay, so
22 minutes?
no, it's not 22 minutes.
9 miles.
It's not 9 miles from here. 0.9 is probably what it says.
Probably there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. I do whatever you want with it. I'm not going to know what you want.
You just have to hit start. Turn up the sound. Okay. I do need to have you give me directions as it tells you. If you would. Oh, I have a
First lane towards Skyline Boulevard.
I have a backup camera on here. I can use that. I'm not comfortable, but I'm learning to be more comfortable with the backup camera. But I'm telling you, I'm from old school driving. Don't back up where you can't see yourself, you know? But it's nice to have. It's quite a little tight parking area. Alrighty, that was it. Right or left, honey? Just a moment.
What is this road?
I don't know what this road is. This is probably Rhododendron Drive or something.
Well, go left. Must be Birch Lane.
And this is Floral Hill.
Birch Lane.
I'm gonna go to the left.
Yeah.
Surprised it's not giving you like a step by step.
Well, look what it's doing.
Okay, hold on. Let me just get up here.
Oh, it didn't even start.
There you go.
In 500 feet, continue straight onto Sylvan Street.
Okay. Yeah, it's not far from here.
Continue straight onto Sylvan Street, then turn left onto Furcrest Drive.
Straight.
Turn left on Furcrest.
Oh,
That's Sylvan over there. This is Floral Hill.
yep. I did.
You went the wrong way.
I did. Right off the. Okay, I will.
Continue on Floral Hill Drive
Okay.
for 3/4 of a mile.
All right.
All the way around.
Oh well.
Big loop, Joy.
Yep. I'm gonna make a loop. A loop-de-doop. So yeah, Steve Prefontaine, when he passed, it was catastrophically sad for the town, the running community, internationally. Everybody knew who Steve was. And to lose him, it's such the prime of his life. was horrible. It was so sad. I will add, I believe it was drinking related, and that made it even more sad for many people because it was avoidable to a degree. And he was coming home. It was late at night, like middle of the night, speeding likely. Couldn't negotiate a corner, and flipped his little tiny car. And I believe that the hood was not on it. I could be wrong on that piece of it, but I don't believe it had a top on it. So these are our southeast hills. And this is a place that's beautiful, but look at what's all around here and what happens every summer in Oregon. There eventually, someday, and I hope it's not in the day that I'm alive any longer, there's going to be a fire in these hills. And it's been said already, there's just so much fuel here. And especially since we have been in droughts and not had enough rain. Riverview Street.
Awesome.
All right. There will have come a day when there's going to be some bad consequences.
Oh, maybe another.
Take the next left onto Riverview Street.
Okay, taking a left onto Riverview.
Continue on Riverview Street for 3/4 of a mile.
And these are all unimproved roads, but yet this is probably one of the highest tax brackets in town. I mean, a lot of property taxes up here. So for the house I live in, my father built the same house. See, and it's about, the taxes on that house are,
$500 a year.
no, they're not $500 a year. It's about $2,500 a year. It's at minimum double that up here. The same house, at minimum, double the tax
I
bracket.
meant more. I meant 25. I said 5?
Yeah, 500.
No, I didn't mean that. I just said that.
And yep, it's just, you pay a bigger price to live up here, but you have a lot of beauty in the greenery, the trees, all of the lushness. And this area right here being on a park, right, right on the edge of a
Privacy.
park, you have a different privacy level up here. My right glands underneath my chin are hurting. But I've been battling this respiratory thing for weeks now, and I went to the doctor once about a month ago and had x-rays taken of my lungs. There was nothing there. Well, there was, but it wasn't for them to do any antibiotics. It was, rephrase that, nothing there for antibiotics. And by the way, there are places up here that have the most fantastic views because they're on the side of the hill, really, looking either south or west and north. If you're really on the top of the hill and you're on one of the houses at the top, you're going to have even better views of the whole valley. But also buying a house up here, even a rundown shack house, is hundreds
600 feet, turn left onto Sylvan Street.
is hundreds of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Our house where it sits has a value of about $350,000.
Turn left onto Sylvan Street.
It's
Then turn
right
left to
there.
stay on Sylvan
You just
Street.
wouldn't buy it.
I don't think, okay, all right.
Turn left, you keep going.
I thought it's up here to turn left.
No.
All right, we'll see. I thought that's a dead end, and Freeze Rock is not on a dead end. This is East 16th Street.
Okay, it's not
Continue on
Sylvan.
River Street for 3/4 of a mile.
Nope,
No, turn around. I thought that was it. Turn.
I have a car.
Because it's stop sign. On
Yeah.
here it shows
Oh,
a
okay.
stop sign.
That was wrong.
Yeah. We worked on a house over there, I think, me and Stuart. Drag gravel under it,
No,
one of these.
I thought I knew where I was going at that
Turn
point.
left onto Sylvan Street, then turn left to stay on Sylvan Street.
Sylvan Street is right up here because you can kind of oversee the freeway from Freeze Rock. Okay, and then Sylvan Street is right up there.
Take the next left to stay on Sylvan Street.
Yep. Okay, okay there.
Continue on Sylvan Street for half a mile.
All righty. We are on Sylvan Street. It's 20 miles an hour. So, yes, I can imagine you drug a lot of gravel under houses, Richard. That's what you did for a living for a while. He could go under houses. I'm terrified of enclosed spaces, Richard. Not so much. He's not afraid of heights, nor was he ever afraid of enclosed spaces. He's been under our house more than one time. More
To
than,
say the least.
yes.
Where's Freeze Rock?
Freeze Rock, it's up here. This is where he, and you know, just
1,000 feet, turn right on this drive.
well, at least you're getting a little drive around with me. I'm getting a little drive around. I'm tired of being in the house. Is this Fir Crest?
Yeah, gotta keep going.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's a
This
dead.
is not,
Well, this is still a road. That was just a driveway. It kind of looked like.
Next right onto Fircrest Drive.
Okay. Oh, this is.
Bristol.
Okay, so I don't want to go.
Fircrest, this is
Okay,
Fircrest.
that
No,
way.
we're on Fircrest.
I know, but I have to go around this Toyota vehicle. Boy, this is a great place. So my neighbor, right? He would,
In a quarter mile, Skyline Boulevard.
if the guy who has this big boat out in the road lived in my house, I could tell you that the neighbor to my west, who's an asshole, and I've said that earlier.
What bellyache to hell?
Oh, he'd call the city on him. Oh, he would do everything to make his life miserable to try and force him to do something to get rid of it. He has, our son had words with him the other day. He caught him on our cameras because we have cameras, a couple cameras on the property, putting coming over onto our property over here around his fence onto our property to put poison along the fence line for his bushes. Well, he didn't know we had cameras up, clearly, and Brent had him on camera. And so when Brent saw him out, he called him over and he told him to please do not put poison. Don't come around and put poison on our side of the fence again. We have children that come here and play in this area and dogs. And he was I know he was stunned to have been caught. And he was very, okay, I got you. And what did they say to do, Richard?
Left, 350 feet.
Okay.
Skyline. This is Skyline, right? Yeah, go left.
Skyline Boulevard. Then your destination
That
will be
way.
on the right.
Okay. It winds around up here, so that's one of the problems. But I'm
There's a deer, 2 deer right there.
oh, 2 deer. We missed 2 deer. See, that's the other thing. You could have there's a deer who hang out up here and wild turkeys. But I haven't seen them over on this side. But when I was it'll be right on the road. when I was a realtor, we saw them. When I was up in the West Hills, I saw them all the time, deer and turkey. I loved being a realtor if for nothing else but that.
Got it right there.
No, it says it. You won't be confused.
Because we were right here. We
I
were right there.
I know, Richard.
We went a long way to find it, and we're not getting there.
They're not going straight across. Let's see what it says now. I'm going to be so pissed off. What's it say to do?
It doesn't say anything.
Freeze rock. Freeze rock. Oh, you. Gonna have to type it in, honey.
We're
Let's-
not gonna keep driving because we're not gonna go by it again.
I'm gonna go real slow for a minute.
Freeze rock.
Just type it, Richard.
Straight onto Sylvan Street, then turn left onto Furcrest Drive.
Okay, I'm backing up because that's Sylvan Street.
Right.
Right there.
That's where you went before.
Yes.
And we should have
Yes.
repeated.
Take the next left onto Furcrest
Back
Drive.
around the way we went. We didn't see it, did we?
We're gonna do this one last time, and then I'm not gonna try again.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Skyline Boulevard.
Go back up to where we were.
I
Good
thought
deal.
it was on Skyline Boulevard. Be patient. Swear to God, it's worth it. And for all the times I've been there in my life, I just can't imagine how I'm struggling like this. I'm just not as familiar with the South Hills. I mean, I'm just not.
This is the east.
Yes. I know the West South Hills much better. I don't think I ever sold any houses up here. I sold houses in the West South Hills. I've been in big old houses up here one time. Huge one that it had been built in the 70s. Even had carpet in the bathroom around the toilet and around the sunken tub, by the way. This wall looks very familiar, but I know it's like close to the freeway. You can kind of see the freeway.
Yeah.
Turn left onto Skyline Boulevard, then your destination will be on the right.
Turn. It's right up here on the right.
Okay.
Head south on Birch Lane, Furcrest Drive towards Skyline Boulevard. In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Skyline Boulevard.
No. Destination was supposed to be on the right. That's it, right here?
No, it's not it. That's ours. I think you need to take that other road back, like back there.
Take the next right onto Skyline Boulevard.
This,
It's 1,000 feet. Turn left to stay on Skyline Boulevard.
now it's telling us we were 350 feet from it. It was our destination was on our right. And now we're way.
Now this is seeming, we didn't come down this road and I think we
No.
needed to be on this road. Okay. All right.
Ask them. Do they know where Preach Rock is?
Excuse me. Am I on the spot to get to Freeze Rock? Do you know?
The left means like immediate right around the little road.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Yep. Okay. Left up here and immediate right.
Take the next left to stay on Skyline Boulevard. In 1,000 feet, your destination will be on the left.
She said right. She said right.
I know. I'm just looking
Or to
right
go
there.
right. It's 1,000 feet from where we were just now.
And this is a road we have not been down either.
That's a
So
little ways. Yeah, so it ran in some circles for no
I
reason.
know it. It just okay. So there's Google Maps. There's a Google Map issue for you. Had Richard and I in a little argument. I knew you can see east from here, from this road. Okay, it's up here on the right.
Clouds didn't
Your
let you see.
destination is on the left.
It's on the left. Okay. It is
Right
on the
there.
left.
That's it.
It is on the left.
That where it crashed?
Yep, this is you notice the tennis shoes over there? I cannot get out here. There's no place to pull over and park. But for anybody who knows any, I can't take a picture of this. Might you, or you probably don't feel like it while you're doing that. Take a picture while I keep an eye out behind me, and then if I have to turn around and come right back up this road, I will. So this is the curve. No, with your camera, with mine. I'm on a live stream. If you forgot. I'm gonna pull a little bit more forward so I don't get rear-ended. But this is legendary runner Steve Prefontaine's final resting place. Yes, Patricia, we did find it. And I know I have pictures of this somewhere in all of my footage. I'm going to move forward a little further. But I'm not someone who's known to have good luck. I could just see someone coming around that bend. All right.
You'll be on your site, right?
Yes. All right. So that's what we went all, I just, for me, and I don't know who's on here who might be someone who would appreciate that.
We weren't even on this road.
I know. Seatbelt. Yeah. And there's a sign to Freeze Rock right there. Okay. And Interstate 5 is just to our right down there. So I'm going to take this off and open your window. You can just carefully give them kind of a scan over that way. Just scan it. The river's down there. Interstate 5 is about 2 miles that direction. All right, get back to here. I know this is dangerous. You know who I'm glad is not on here is Kaylee. Boy, she'd be griping me out. All right, so I think after we get down here, and I get down to the bottom of the hill, I'm just going to end the live stream. Thank you guys for coming along and hanging out with me this afternoon. And Richard, and just listening to life. And when I started this video today, I talked about, and you may not have been on here, but I talked about how, I intentionally asked God to make this a better day for me. So I was not stuck in my house again. I'm just over it. Okay. And I hadn't been intentionally asking, I don't know what your beliefs are, but, all I could say is, guess what I'm not doing today? And for 4 days, I had 4 bad days. And so I'm grateful that
Little sheepy.
Yeah.
Bad days.
bad days. I'm just glad that I'm having a good day and that I get to spend it with you guys a little bit. And that Hope and Life is treating you well. And if you need to get a little inspiration, maybe just, should I go down Walnut? Okay. Yeah, just keep going down. That's how you get out of the hills. You just keep going down. That if you're doing, having struggles, that you seek out whatever inspiration in your life helps you, whatever power, power greater than yourself, if you have one, helps you get through those times. Because on the days when I intentionally ask, I have better days. But I'm just like anybody else. I mean, I get wrapped up in my own crap, and it's real. It's not that it's just crap, it's real stuff. And I forget to say, intentionally have intentionality about asking God to help me out, give me whatever it is you need to give me to get through this day in a better way. And we are now on Franklin Boulevard.
Used to be DMV.
So yeah, that's I hope that you're having a good day, and if you're not, that
Go ahead. Stop.
that
Stop.
that you have a that you have a better one. And my sister Olita is a good example. She also has very similar issues to me as far as her physical. She knows the pain of nerve pain. She definitely knows the problems that come along with nerve pain, and that it debilitates your life. And for me, it shrunk my life. It shrunk my life very small. And I'm not someone who really appreciates that. I'll show you one more place while we're out here today. It's right here to my left, and it is Matthew Knight Arena. I'm going to pull over up here just for a second. My car, so the car has this quiet mode that it's like it stalls out, and it takes it a minute to restart, or it takes it a second. I mean, it starts right back up once I move my foot to make the gas go. But boy, I don't like that. I don't like it. I could tell you that. I'm going to go right in here for a moment and pull through. One of the many motels here.
Building a lot of them right here.
Near the University of Oregon. So right there ahead of us is the Matthew Knight Arena, named after Matthew Knight, Phil Knight's son, who died in a scuba diving accident. He donated the money to have it built. It's our basketball arena, and they have concerts in there, all kinds of things. All right, I'm gonna back up because I'd like to turn it around. I know there's a parking space back here. I know there's nobody behind me. if someone who's been driving as long as I've been driving can't back up and put myself in a parking space, I better get out from behind the wheel. All right. Yeah, I'm kind of in a parking space. All right. So I'm going to turn you around so we can say goodbye. Face to face goodbye. Settings, camera. All right. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I am so appreciative of those who stopped in, very, very much. And I met a couple people I didn't know, who followed my channel, and I'm going to go back and find them so I can see if they have a channel and check them out as well. Looks like the blue sky is opening up. On our way home, there's a place I want to try to stop by and get some content. Yes, it's a renowned sports complex, Alita. It's world renowned. They're changing that beautiful flooring, which makes me sad. It does stall as feature. Oh, you can turn it. I didn't know. We need to look that up. I don't care for it. All right. So thank you so much for stopping by. As I always say, please find your passion. Find it as early as you possibly can, because time is not infinite. There's a cap, and I'm kind of living that cap right now. As far as mobility, that has changed my life drastically. And so I encourage people to really find a passion if that's what you want to do, and do it, whatever it is. I don't care if it's gardening, if it's whatever. Just find your passion and live it. All right, you guys, thank you. Have a great afternoon. I love you, and I deeply appreciate you.